Today I'm playing the entire career of Deestroying with the hopes that he finally makes it to the NFL, and we're starting back in college before he had to leave UCF, but there's a slight problem. I have to complete all 7 of these challenges with Deestroying before the end of his collegiate career, and if I fail to complete even just one of these challenges, I'm going to give away a jersey to one of you at the end of the video. I'll be resuming Deestroying's college career from where it ended, but if you don't know what happened to him, here's a quick recap of why he had to leave college early. During his first 2 years at UCF, he was the kickoff specialist, and he also made some YouTube videos during that time which made him some money, and the NCAA didn't like that. Before his junior year started, the NCAA put him in a tough spot. They told him he had to delete or demonetize his YouTube channel to keep playing college football, and he decided to do the opposite as he left UCF, and the rest is history. But today, we're going to pretend the NCAA never made him leave college, and we'll be resuming his career as a junior, trying to get him into the NFL. Remember, I have to complete all of these challenges before the end of the video, and since UCF joined the Big 12 this year, this could be a long season for us, but fortunately we started off with a win and a 61-yard field goal. That could be a challenge complete already if this holds all year, and Deestroying began the season 3 for 3, but he needed to keep performing well if he wanted any good transfer offers. He did attempt a 62-yarder against FIU, which fell a little bit short, but at least we got another win, so going into the war on I-4, we felt like we could beat 3-0 USF. The offense had a really good day, and Deestroying watched his team dominate the Bulls as he got to celebrate the rivalry win afterwards. We also snuck into the top 25, and the whole purpose of the transferring challenge could end up pointless if UCF actually won all of their games and made the playoffs. Deestroying only had 1 missed kick so far this season, and he put us up 2 with a minute left, which would end up being the game-winning kick. So I think it's safe to say his junior year had been going well so far. He continued to nail field goals, and we were no Georgia, but this throw would ice the game against TCU. So winning a conference championship was a real possibility, but we'd have to keep winning even at Texas in the rain. And there's only so much Deestroying can do himself. He was the only source of offense today, and since the Longhorns had 28 at the half, it looked like this one was going to end badly for us, but with 24 seconds left, we actually had a chance, and unfortunately, all Deestroying could do was watch from the sidelines as we couldn't capitalize on it. He had a great game himself though, and even if this year went south, he would have plenty of transfer options to choose from, as he was consistently nailing kicks from about 47 yards out. UTEP was our easiest win yet, and if we somehow beat Baylor this week, a Big 12 championship could still be on the table. Deestroying attempted a 58-yarder here that fell just short, and those 3 points could have been a real difference maker in this game, as Baylor would win on a last-second field goal themselves. That result meant some of the challenges weren't possible to complete this season, so I'm going to fly through our final 4 games of the year and see if we can complete any of the other challenges. Deestroying watched his team beat Houston in overtime and even kicked the game winner against Oklahoma, so winning the Groza Award was a real possibility. Even if he couldn't quite kick it 60 yards like he somehow did in the season opener, Deestroying's final regular season game was in the swamp, and it actually ended in a UCF win. But now, it was time to find out how many challenges were completed in year 1, and Deestroying actually won the Best Kicker Award as a junior. He even led the country in field goals made, while also holding on to the record for the longest kick this year. And lastly, he finished as a first-team All-American, so he completed over half of the challenges already. He could transfer wherever he wanted as a senior, and he won the Cheez-It Bowl in his final game at UCF. But before Deestroying can decide where he wants to transfer next season, he has to consider which state he wants to live in, just like you have to if you want to play on PrizePicks, the sponsor of today's video. It's not available everywhere, but you can play PrizePicks in over 30 states, so there's a good chance yours is eligible, and if it is, you can really put your sports knowledge to the test. For example, I am better at NBA picks than anything else on PrizePicks, which is weird because I only watch college basketball, but I've gotten very good at deciding higher or lower for certain players, and due to that, I've made some money. If you want to attempt to do the same and join me on PrizePicks, code BOARD or the first link in my description will double your initial deposit up to $100, and you might as well take advantage of the free money on an app that offers every sport you can think of. Anyways, it's time for Deestroying's transfer decision, and in the end, he decided to play for Oregon, which completed a super easy challenge. The Pac-12 shouldn't be too hard without USC or UCLA, and Deestroying got off to a great start to his senior year as Wyoming really never stood a chance. I can also say the same for Central Arkansas, and this one was even more of a blowout than the previous week. It was bad, but it still wasn't as bad as Georgia Georgia versus TCU was, and in the end, Deestroying attempted a 59-yarder that hit the post. He had to face his old school next, and he even got to go back home to Florida to play them. He was on top of it today, nailing a 56-yarder, and his defense wasn't willing to give up any points as the final score was Oregon 28, UCF 0. Pac-12 conference play opened up with a top 10 matchup, and this one was a must-win game. Deestroying put us up by 3 going into the half with a 56-yarder, and he still hadn't missed a single field goal yet this season. With 3 minutes left, he put us up by 3, and that would be enough to barely beat number 5 Utah. But there were still 4 undefeated teams in the Pac-12, so he had a long way to go to make the conference championship, and beating Colorado with Deion Sanders at the helm could be tough. Well, never mind, Bo Nix is that guy, I guess, and he might take us to a national championship. Deestroying was definitely doing his part, hitting a 56-yarder here, and he watched from the bench as this play would seal the win, making us 6-0. The following week, he had to travel to play at Stanford, and this would be a historic game. Not only would he attempt and hit a 65-yard field goal like it was nothing, but he would score all of Oregon's points today, which would somehow be enough to comfortably beat Stanford and win him player of the game as a kicker. I was hoping all of this was enough to get him into the NFL, but we also needed to keep winning, and it wasn't looking good against Arizona. All Deestroying could do was watch from the sidelines as we won on the final play, and it stinks that he can't control the outcomes of these games, but as a kicker, all he can do is his job, and so far it was working out as we still hadn't lost one yet. But we had to play number 2 Washington this week, which so far would be our toughest game of the season, and Deestroying had almost no kicking opportunities today. With 5 seconds left, he had to watch as his team failed to score, and that would give us our first loss, but it wouldn't ruin our conference championship hopes because Washington lost to Washington State in the Apple Cup, so all we had to do was win out to win the Pac-12 championship. And with a 58-yarder and a 62-yarder, Deestroying was doing his part as we won our rivalry against Oregon State, and in the last regular season game, he attempted and missed a 66-yard kick, but that wouldn't matter at the end of the day because we won by 21 points, and that was enough to seal the Pac-12 for us since without divisions, NCAA football removes the championship game, and that completed the 6th challenge of the video. Anyways, Oregon did sneak into the playoffs, and Deestroying won the Lou Groza Award again as he had the best kicking season ever. He broke the record for the most field goals in a year, and it was time to see how the playoffs went. We were taking on USC, and they were undefeated so far this season, but we were looking to put an end to that as we went into the half up by 6 and started the third quarter with a touchdown. With 5 minutes left, Deestroying put us up by 19, and we'd win and advance to the national championship, which was going to be against Florida State. This was a chance for Oregon to win their first natty, and Deestroying got us onto the board here. Then he attempted a 66-yarder because we're in a dome, but it fell short, so thank goodness we scored before the half because being down by 4 wasn't too bad. In fact, we started the third quarter by scoring, but with 47 seconds left, Florida State tied it, so it all came down to if Bo Nix could get Deestroying into field goal range, and the AI in this game might be the worst I've ever seen. Time for overtime where we actually attempted to score but still couldn't fight into the end zone, so Deestroying had to get us 3, and that meant the game was in the hands of our defense who stopped the Seminoles short and made them kick a field goal, which sent it into double overtime where once again our defense held on strong and got a huge interception. That would basically do it, as all Deestroying had to do was come on and kick the game winner, and he ended his collegiate career with a national championship. I completed all 7 challenges with him today, but the final question was if he would get drafted, and he'd go in the 7th round to the Broncos.